Hello, Dermatology Hall of Fame visitor. It's a pleasure to welcome you to the website and to let you know a little bit about the people who helped make me what I am today, for better or worse. Let me start off with Judith Mizlaborsky, clinician extraordinaire, who turned me on to dermatology. As a second year student in Albany Medical College, listening to the lectures and seeing the somewhat depressed hematologist, oncologist, and others, and saying it's all interesting, but not for me. I realized at that point that as much as I loved math, ophthalmology, and nephrology were just not as interesting as I wanted. And Judy opened my eyes to dermatology, which was a wonderful, wonderful thing to have happen. And she has been a supporter and mentor my entire career. And she's the person who first gave me the fever for dermatology. Thank you, Judy. Um, Jim Strasberg is a rheumatologist from Schenectady, New York, who imbued my interest and love of connective tissue disease that helped drive the early part of my career. Gerald Coleman he passed away, a plastic surgeon in Albany, who was kind enough to let me spend 4 weeks with him as a medical student and 7 weeks as an intern. And I love Jerry. He was a human being, a wonderful surgeon, and he believed in training people to do things right, regardless of their specialty, which is something that is sort of anomalous back in that era. Clifford Tepper is an allergist in Schenectady who also passed away. I think he's over 100 when he passed away or around that. And Dr. Tepper was a well-organized practitioner, an excellent pediatric allergist. He had a wonderful system that taught me the value of learning how to dictate properly, which has been helpful to me my whole career, in addition to teaching me a lot of clinical immunology and how to work with patients. Now, I did my residency at UT Southwestern, where I had some amazing mentors in the faculty, such as Jim Gilliam, Rick Sondheimer, Paul Bergstresser, and Mike Tharp, who were just extraordinary, along with a couple of the clinical faculty. Coleman Jacobson was one. Coleman was a big mentor and supporter and friend, along with David Whiting, also a mentor, supporter, and friend who taught me so much. Just I love those guys. Philip Eichhorn, one of our clinical faculty who ran the VA, and there were what he called Eichhorn's rules. One was never make a hole you can't close. Corollary to that was you can't close it, can always heal by secondary intention. And the other part of his rules was God help you if they page the resident and they can't find you. Other than that, it was great. And he was a wonderful teacher, a really, really great clinician. Phil unfortunately passed away as a relative youngster of about 80 or so. That's unfortunate, but another person I truly miss. Lenny Goldberg in Houston, who I did my Mohs fellowship with, who taught me how to be an obsessive compulsive surgeon and and accept nothing less than perfection on the slides that my section was producing. That was just another wonderful mentor. And then a few people on the practice management side of things. There's David McCaffrey, who was the first sitting ruck member for dermatology. I was David's successor, and David taught me a lot. Jim Zala, who taught me so much about coding and practice management issues, and Tom Olson, also a mentor on some of those same issues. Uh, Three other people I grouped together in my photography friends, Tom Russell, the late Len Swinier, and Ken Gross, who all welcomed me to the Dermatologic Photographic Society when I was a punk intern attending the Academy meeting in San Francisco back in 1980. I graduated in 81, so it was 1980. I went to my first Derm Photo Society meeting, met with these wonderful guys, and honed my skills, learned a lot, and they, again, a big part of my career professionally ever since then. So these were the big ones. One could argue that I've had peer mentors such as Brett Coldiron. I interviewed Brett for residency when I was a chief resident at Southwestern. We bonded at his interview, and I said, "You should come here. We can hang out together. I'm coming back after my fellowship, and we can have fun," which we did. And we kind of mentored each other along the way. And again, many others have helped along the way. And if I've missed you, my apologies, but thank you all for your support in helping my career, which I've hoped has been useful to both the specialty and the patients we care for. Thank you and enjoy visiting the website.